The New York Jets, 38. Your Kansas City Chiefs, 31. In a frustrating loss at the Meadowlands. The Kansas City Chiefs season continues to spiral out of control. 2 weeks ago today, the Kansas City Chiefs could only manage 3 field goals in the exact same stadium. Today, they put up 31 points and looked great offensively. I'm joined once again by Lance Twidwell of The Spoken. 2 months ago today, I was joined by Lance and we talked about the Kansas City Chiefs being the talk of the NFL, being the best team in the National Football League. As I mentioned today's game, as I mentioned just a minute ago, the season is spiraling out of control for your Kansas City Chiefs as we are 6-6, headed for the last 4 games. The Chiefs have lost 6 of their last 7. Lance, what did you take away from today's frustrating Kansas City Chiefs loss?
I'm going to take a drink real quick because this is going to be really hard to say.
Right. Take that drink. I need you to elaborate on this. What did you take away?
Shane, the season's over. Guys, the season's over. I was the one when we made our initial predictions at the beginning of the year. I said that the Chiefs are going to be the ones that sneak into the wild card. I said the whole time I thought they were going to be just good enough. I didn't think the defense was going to be this bad, but I knew they were getting old and they were thin. So we obviously knew there was going to be some issue with that. I did not expect this. I don't think any of us expected to have a 6 of 7 game losing streak, if you will. But looking at this in totality, guys, over the last 3 to 4 weeks, the Chiefs have just been insanely bad. You look at the offense and how horrible they were over the last 3 weeks, just being absolutely horrible. You look at the defense and just being unbelievably bad on third down today. I mean, I don't even remember how many third downs the Jets converted. I almost want to say all of them. But the point is, guys, this team does not deserve the playoffs. And even if they were to get, Shane, even if they were to get into the playoffs, guys, let's say they do squeak in at 9-7, they get a wild card, some lucky break happens. They're not beating the Steelers, the Patriots, the Jaguars, the Titans, any of these teams that are currently in the playoff picture. And why is that? Because they're not consistent in anything. They're not good at anything. You'll have Alex Smith go 5 to 6, 7 games where he's absolutely atrocious. Hasn't had a good game since week 7. Then comes out today and balls out, but it also happens to be the time where the defense finally gives up over 20 points. Not only do they give up 20 points, they give up 38 points. So there's just too much inconsistency with this team. I believe, and we can talk more about this, I believe Andy Reid has lost this team, and we might have to start considering the fact that Andy Reid might be done in Kansas City.
You know, let's talk about today's game specifically. Matt Nagy. Chris Mortensen reported Matt Nagy, Andy Reid surrendered his duties today to Matt Nagy. Alex Smith was great today with Matt Nagy, but what it took for Alex Smith to be successful today with Matt Nagy as his offensive coordinator, here it is. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Opposing defenses were running cover 2 and stacking the line of scrimmage, stopping Alex Smith for the last 4 games directly. What Alex Smith had to do to be successful against the cover 2 and a stacked defense around the line of scrimmage is he had to throw up top. It took today for Alex Smith to say, I got to throw through tight windows and I have to go up top. Alex Smith did that today. Let's look at these stats for Alex Smith today. Alex Smith today, he was 19 of 33 for 366 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He also had a monster 70-yard touchdown, or 70-yard run, not for a touchdown, that put the Chiefs up in field goal range. But as soon as he got downfield after the 70-yard run, 2 plays after that, he takes an unnecessary sack with Demarcus Robinson open for a touchdown. So if we are going to forget about, I don't think we're going to forget about this season going forward. Andy Reid is going to stick with Alex Smith, even though we want to go to Patrick Mahomes. Alex Smith, Andy Reid's going to stick with him going forward against the Raiders because there's going to be a 3-way tie or at least a 2-way tie going into next Sunday's game. With Matt Nagy calling the plays, do you feel like it makes a difference 3 straight games at home? I was at Arrowhead last week. Yeah. The fans have turned on Alex Smith. At least they did last week on his piss-poor performance against Buffalo. Do you feel it'll make a difference, Matt Nagy, going forward, is calling these 3 straight games at home?
Well, I'll tell you this right now. If it does make a difference in the positive sense of things for the Chiefs, then that even, my last sentence that I said before Shane just spoke again was about Andy maybe being out of Kansas City. If our offense improves after Andy gives up that type of play calling ability, which he's known to be, this genius offensive mind,
right,
where teams were copying off him, the shovel passes and everything early on in the season, then that should tell us what Andy Reid is capable and not capable of doing in his 19th or 20th season in the NFL. Then maybe he has lost that serious step that can make him go from a top 5 NFL coach to a guy who should not be coaching in the NFL anymore. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous to a lot of Chiefs fans because of the success that Andy Reid has had in Kansas City and the success that he had in Philadelphia. But if we're really going to cut down to it, guys, he has essentially, and I know everybody thinks I'm just Alex bashing because he did have a really good game today, but he's essentially sacrificed this season for Alex Smith. And the reason I say that is because over the last 3 weeks, Alex has proven time and time again he should have been benched, and he came out and said not only is he playing, but he's my guy, which means he's riding or dying with Alex Smith, and that is the problem I had. So now that we are 6-6, when I've heard everybody say, well, you can't give up on the season, you can't put out Mahomes there right now because you can't give up on the season. Well, guys, this season's done. They're 6-6. They have proven to us time and time again they are not good enough to be a contender. They are not a Super Bowl contender, and Alex Smith is not coming back next season. So why in the hell are we not playing Patrick Mahomes? Why in the hell are we robbing him of his progression? Because he will be our quarterback in 2018, which means all we are doing is delaying the inevitable of the change of the quarterback position. And that is my problem. So when it comes to Nagy, maybe changing some things up and making it maybe more of his offensive type, which I think we both know Andy's still going to run the offense,
right,
that is not going to change in my opinion. It's not going to change because the personnel is the same. You still have Alex Smith out there. You still have this really bad offensive line. You do not have enough consistency for anything to really convince me that next week it's going to be a different offense, next week it's going to be a different team, and we're going to see this team all of a sudden rally back into what they once were in the first 5 weeks. I just don't see it happening, Shane.
Right.
Just don't.
Right. And Patrick Mahomes could come in next week. That could possibly happen. We all want it to happen. Alex Smith, again, as Lance is giving Alex Smith credit for the long term. As I mentioned here in April, as I mentioned here with April with Lance, the Chiefs could draft Tre'Davious White out of LSU. Ironically, he had a game-clinching interception last week for the Bills against the Chiefs. The Chiefs could have drafted somebody to take over at the 27th pick, but we needed to think outside of the box. We needed to trade up to get Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. We took Patrick Mahomes, so I want to piggyback on what Lance says. It doesn't do any good to stick with Alex Smith. What Alex Smith did today for the Chiefs was great. He upped his draft value. He upped his trade value on draft day. He upped to at least what do you think? Do you think today, if the Chiefs bench Alex Smith right now and take Patrick Mahomes as the starter right now, what do you think you could get of Alex Smith, knowing that Eli Manning is going to be out there as the trade stock? What do you think we could get for Alex Smith?
Well, even with guys like Eli Manning, who, by the way, is 36 and will be 37 next year, even with guys like him who are clearly been better in their careers than Alex Smith, I still believe there are going to be teams out there desperate enough to go after a guy like Alex Smith. Let's say the Arizona Cardinals. Let's say even the New York Jets. There's no guarantee they'll stick with a 38-year-old, soon-to-be 39-year-old quarterback that they currently have who just beat us today. But my point is, it almost doesn't even matter to me. I think the Chiefs are going to get maybe a mid-round pick out of Alex, maybe a couple of them. But to me, that's a win. Because considering the fact that you should have benched him 3-4 weeks ago. And if the Chiefs are playing Alex to keep his trade value up, then I don't believe in this regime. Because they're playing to sustain one player's trade value, then that tells me you're not out there trying to win on Sundays. Because this guy has literally killed our offense almost nearly every game since week 7. Until today, which he did play a very good game, but he also didn't do the game-winning drive like we were all sitting there waiting for him to do, and he just can't seem to do it. The point is that I just want him to be traded. I don't really care what the value is. The value can go up and down. There are going to be teams out there that will give up 3rd, 4th round picks for Alex Smith because teams in the NFL need quarterbacks, and whether or not I like Alex Smith in Kansas City, he's a good enough quarterback to get another job, a starting job in another city for another franchise. So I do believe that the Chiefs are going to get picks for him. What kind of picks? I don't expect high, maybe mid-round. That's what I'm expecting.
And a lot of his shortcomings before this week, the shortcoming was for Alex Smith. Why can't he beat the cover 2, the Tampa 2? Why won't he go up top? There was numerous gifs on Red Tribe Cinema. I want to pimp Red Tribe Cinema because they do their due diligence. There's numerous times where Alex Smith lacked the confidence to go up top. Today, I don't know if it was Matt Nagy. What was it that was... Alex Smith definitely showed I better go up top because my time with Kansas City is on the line. Why would he not go up top? Today, he definitely went up top because they were stacking the line. Tyreek Hill showed he's the #1 wide receiver. Travis Kelce showed that he's a Pro Bowl tight end, a #1 tight end. That can make difference. The Chiefs are at the crossroad. It's sad to see. It's sad to see that they keep marching out Alex Smith to basically play on a season that's lost. Like I said, you people that follow me on Facebook and YouTube have seen the fans. They've turned on Alex Smith. They've turned on this team. It's frustrating to see that. It's frustrating to see him play at this level. Now going through the final stretch of the season, we're 6-6 as I mentioned. The Raiders are going to come to town. The Chargers are going to come to town following them. There's a lot of heat falling on Marcus Peters. Let's go to the last 3 minutes of this game. The Chiefs hold the Jets to a field goal attempt inside their 10-yard line. Benny Logan lines up wrong, personal foul penalty. What happens then? That keeps the drive alive. Rather than the Chiefs down 2 with 3.5 minutes left, the Chiefs drive kept the drive alive by Benny Logan. So then the Chiefs hold the Jets, 3rd and goal, incomplete pass. Defensive holding on Steve Nelson. The drive continues. The Chiefs then hold, 3rd and goal. The Jets get the touchdown. The Jets then go for 2 points. Defensive holding on Steve Nelson. So what we've had in the last 9 plays, you had Benny Logan line up wrong on a field goal attempt, personal foul. Then you had Steve Nelson keeping the drive alive on 3rd and goal. Then you had Steve Nelson again on a 2-point conversion. Now, Marcus Peters picks up the flag in frustration, throws it into the crowd. Is it something you want Marcus Peters to do? No. But the backlash on him from social media, unacceptable. Unacceptable on Marcus Peters. Yes, you may say, hey, Shag, you want to talk. You've been bashing Alex Smith for a year and a half. Now you want to say fans are too hard on Marcus Peters? No, I'm not going to say that. If the Chiefs did not have Marcus Peters, and if we didn't have Marcus Peters as the Chiefs cornerback, the Chiefs would be even worse than 6-6. Disappointed to see so many fans harboring on the fact that Marcus Peters fell on the sword for Steve Nelson. You want to elaborate on that as well?
Man, you bring up great points. We talked before we did this show. We usually don't do that also. We don't try to show each other what we're going to say before we do this. But that was something Shane did say to me, and I actually 100% agree with what he's saying. Let me get it out of the way. What Marcus Peters did was wrong in a lot of ways. You obviously have to try to keep your cool. You obviously have to try to keep yourself in the game, quite frankly, because he even said himself he thought he was ejected after that because he knew in himself that that's something you probably should get ejected for. So, yes, what he did was absolutely inexcusable. Having said all that, which I believe is all factual and that we all can kind of have a consensus agreement on, we all have to see what Marcus Peters was actually doing in that situation. He wasn't showing up anybody. He wasn't trying to make himself known as this guy that he wants to get all the attention. He was falling on the sword for one of his teammates because Steven Nelson looked absolutely just atrocious in that drive. He was literally killing our defense when they would try to stop them on 3rd and 4th downs each and every time. So there is more to it than that. Just like the Marshawn Lynch situation. I know all Chiefs fans are going to hate me trying to defend a Raider here. When he ran on the field to separate Marcus Peters from the O-line, it's because he didn't want to see one of his teammates and one of his dear friends and a family member of his get into a fight. There's a brotherhood in the NFL. There's a brotherhood in pro sports. There's a brotherhood in anything we do. At our jobs, you have people that you would stand up for, even if it meant you might get fired for it. Some of us have that kind of relationship with these people. And Marcus Peters looks at Nelson and these other teammates of his as family. So instead of criticizing him as some, whatever name you want to use, whether it's racist or not, let's be real here. There have been people that have been waiting for Marcus Peters to do something like this today so they could feel justified in their racism to say certain things they've been saying. We've been seeing it on social media. You can't hide because the receipts are there. We see them, we hear them, and it's ridiculous, and it's sad, it's sickening, and I really wish people would think before they speak when it comes to this. In regards to the Alex Smith comparison, Shane, Lance, you guys bash on Alex. It's different because that comes down to performance. We're talking about something that goes on and off the field. People are using the kneeling situation and the way that Marcus Peters holds himself. Do people forget what this guy does on Thanksgiving dinners when he feeds families that don't have turkeys? Same with guys like Marshawn Lynch. But see, the coverage isn't on that because that doesn't drive the negativity. And we're here to tell you guys, you need to start looking at these guys as human beings and as people because that's what they are. And they're here to stand up for their teammates. And I would have done the same thing if it came down to it.
And Good point, Lance. I agree 100%. We got to look at the fact that where would this Chiefs team be without Marcus Peters?
Exactly.
Where are you going to have Gaines and Mitchell? I mean, could the Chiefs trade him in the offseason? Yes, but I do not see that happening because he is a top corner.
And that's what's so puzzling about it, Shane, is that we have people that will cheer when Marcus Peters makes a great play for this team, snags a ball out of the air, strips a fumble, does things like that. I'll see these same people cheering him on and doing those things, and then it's so hypocritical that you will turn on him the moment he does something you don't agree with, or that any of us really agree with. Right. We understand the consequences that come with the actions, but you have to understand why the actions were portrayed, why he did what he did. He was standing up for his team and his teammates. He was frustrated with what was going on. You don't agree with it, that's fine. But don't go out and try to literally condemn this man as if he's just some horrible human being for an action he displayed to defend his team.
Right. Great point. It sucked that it happened. It sucked that the defense is in this free for this. The defense has played great after the bye, but they were put on their heels today. Frank Zombo still outside linebacker. He was getting bulled. He was getting pancaked. When he's your outside linebacker, you're not going to get pressure on the quarterback. Chiefs had 0 sacks today. The Chiefs are struggling at safety. Eric Berry, we mentioned since week 1. Eric Murray, his backup wasn't even out on the field. So the Jets were able to spread the Chiefs apart. The crossing pattern was there for the receivers of the Jets. Let's look at the Jets' offensive receiving stats. Curse had 9 receptions, 157 yards. His longest was a 51-yarder. Richie Anderson had 8 catches, 107 yards. His longest was a 26. 2 receivers over 107 yards receiving. Unacceptable. We just couldn't get them off the field. The Jets had 85 offensive plays to the Kansas City Chiefs, 44. It's
unacceptable, but let's be honest here, Shane. We knew after the first 5 weeks that it wasn't going to be the defense that was going to be able to carry us anymore.
Right.
Because for the last 5 years, that's what they've been doing.
Right.
The defense has been in the top 7 every single year since 2013 in points allowed. They've been an amazing defense, but eventually we're going to get old, and we haven't been hitting exactly on every draft pick on the defensive side. They've struggled at that. That was something Dorsey struggled at sometimes. So this defense was eventually going to get old, and it was not going to be elite anymore. So they needed the offense to carry the load. And when they couldn't do that, and now that we've seen the offense come back, the defense did cost us a game. But let's be honest here. Over the last month, the Chiefs' defense didn't allow 20 points in a game.
Right.
So it wasn't like the defense was going to be able to just do that every single week. But yet we were still on a losing streak. We've lost 4 games in a row. It'd be one thing if we were winning all the games that they weren't allowing all those points, and then they allow the points like they did today, and then we lose. Then there's an excuse in the books. But that isn't the case. And like I said, this team in totality is the problem. Are there bigger pieces to the problem? Yes. I believe Alex Smith and a couple other guys deserve more criticism because they are at more important positions and they're paid to perform at a higher level. So, of course, I'm going to hold those guys to a higher standard.
Right.
But this entire team, including the coaching staff, including Andy Reid, who somebody I've actually defended for the majority of the time he's been here, deserves a ton of the criticism for this team. Bob Sutton, a ton of the criticism for this team. Will they get better? Will they answer? Well, guys, I mean, we could be wrong. I could sit here and tell you guys the season's over like I have like 5 times, and I could be wrong. But you can't sit here and tell me any definitive reason with any confidence as to why they will turn it around. Because we're all sitting here with the same frustration, and it's valid.
I would say, to counter that, I would say, well, they have 3 home games. But like I said, I was at Arrowhead Stadium for the last 2 home games, and I've seen the fans be upset with Alex Smith, and I've seen them... they're ready. The fans at Arrowhead are ready for the change for Patrick Mahomes. I think everybody is ready. I think I know myself, and I think I speak for you as well, Lance. The fans would rather just go to Patrick Mahomes now and just so we can be ready for 2018. Because that's where we're at.
But there are a lot of people out there that I've even talked to even before we came here to do this video. Is I have people that are still scared about that, and I get it because for the majority of the entirety of this franchise's history, we've never really had a franchise quarterback, let alone trade up for a guy in the first round.
17 spots.
So yeah, so you're talking about a risk this team's never done. So I get there's fans out there, Chiefs fans that have had 2 kids and a mortgage that have never seen this team have a franchise quarterback. I get why you're so cautious about the change. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it needs to happen. Because if you're ever going to know what Pat is capable of, you got to start now because you only have him on a rookie deal for 4 to 5 years.
Right.
So you don't play him for an entire year of that. You're missing a fourth of that contract.
Say that one more time because that's very important.
Yes,
say that one more time.
Rookie contracts, you only have them for 4 years. You have the 5th year option. You take away one of those years and don't play him at all. You only have a select couple of years to really play him at the cheap so you can build around him with the salary cap in place. You're not paying him tons of money. But let's say Patrick Mahomes becomes a top 5, 10 quarterback. Then you have to pay him $150+ million. And then your cap hits go way up and you can't afford to keep other pieces around him. Why do you think the Seahawks were so successful all these years with Russell Wilson? Because they did not have to pay him big money.
Not for the first 4 years.
Exactly, and that's why they could build around him these nasty defenses, and that's why we went to 2 straight Super Bowls. Guys, it's not difficult. I understand the caution. I understand why you guys are scared about the change because you're so used to safe. You're so used to mediocrity because it feels nice and fuzzy. Is it frustrating? Yes, but there's always next year, and we come back and win 9, 10 games, and then lose in the first round again. Those days have to be done, and that's why the Chiefs traded up for Patrick Mahomes because they're done with it too. You don't think that Hunt wants to see some success? I don't agree with everything Hunt's done. I don't even agree with everything Andy Reid's done. But these guys, if they know they want to keep their jobs and they want to stay relevant, you have to start doing what actually works. And what actually works is drafting franchise quarterbacks and building around them. So wasting this time with Alex Smith instead of Patrick Mahomes is simply robbing Mahomes of his opportunity and simply robbing us of that opportunity. It's really that simple, man.
Right. And to talk about our talks with Brett Veach, we're not media. We just got to do in a post game last July when camps first started, and Brett Veach came up to us. He went up to Clay. He really liked his Patrick Mahomes jersey. He commented on how much he liked his Patrick Mahomes jersey.
Shout out Clay Windler.
Yes, Red Sharp Cinema. Check him out. But we're not, without getting specifics of our talk to Brett Veach made it clear that Patrick Mahomes is the man to lead this franchise. Would you agree with that? Just without getting specific, would you agree that Brett Veach is ready for Patrick Mahomes?
I watched body language. We both watched body language, and everything I saw from Brett in that conversation was, guys, be ready to be marveled. And that was 2 guys that are on Mahomes' bandwagon the entire time.
Right.
So with us getting excited like that, I'm hoping that other fans will start to transition into that excitement as well. It is scary, like I said, I get it, guys, but when you have brass that is saying things like that, like this guy's been, we've been working on getting this guy and wanting this guy, there's a reason for that. And I think that Brett, we have to give him all the confidence in the world because he's given us no reason to believe he can't do the job yet until he proves us wrong. And if Mahomes is his staple, I like where the future's starting to go. I really do.
And what are the Chiefs doing every week? Patrick Mahomes at Hy-Vee in Mission. Patrick Mahomes the next day at Hy-Vee at Blue Springs. Yep. Patrick Mahomes at Hy-Vee in Leawood.
Get your autographs now.
Yeah, they're marching out, and hundreds of fans are lining up to see Patrick Mahomes. That's why it's so odd. You got this fans at Arrowhead who are pissed off and want to get Alex Smith out of here, but yet the brass keeps freaking marching Patrick Mahomes to all these Hy-Vees around the city. It's causing this... Okay, hundreds of fans are showing up to get Patrick Mahomes' autograph, but yet thousands of fans are getting pissed off at Alex Smith. Now that we're at the crossroads, now that Lance made his points, and the fact that I made my points, we're 6-6, so we got 1 month left. Will Alex Smith start next week? I doubt it. Will it be better for the long run? Yes. I would love the fact to have him start, but let's say Alex Smith starts next week against the Oakland Raiders, which will probably happen. There will probably be a 3-way tie. Do you feel the Chiefs can win this division, even though we made our points about Alex Smith? It's not good for the long run. Do you see us making a difference with Alex Smith next week as a quarterback?
No, not at all. I think the Chiefs have now shown us a larger sample size in the first 5 weeks. We've lost 6 of 7. We won 5 straight. This is a larger sample size, I think, of who the Chiefs really are. I have zero confidence this team may win another game this year. I know that sounds nuts because we have 3 home games. More than likely, we're going to win a couple of those probably. But I have no confidence. That's the difference. I do believe the Chiefs could potentially squeak by and win this division, but that's only because the AFC West has been so exposed. This is not a good division anymore. Going into the season, everyone thought, oh, the AFC West, that's the class of the NFL. There's 3 potential playoff teams in this division. Now you got losing record after losing record, or 500 at best. I mean, we're 6-6, and people are still saying that the Chiefs have the best chance of winning this division. That's how insanely bad and average this division has been. So could the Chiefs squeak by? Like I said, yes, because I initially at the beginning of the year picked them to go 9-7 and make the wild card. So that could still very well happen. They could even win the division at 9-7. That's how bad it's been. But the point remains, guys, is that good enough?
Right.
Is that what is our Chiefs? Let's ask you guys. Is that good enough for you? Because that's all that's happened over the last 5 years. I hear people all the time tell me, well, it's not as bad as it used to be with the Pioli era. That's a bragging right of some sort? Like, oh, well, we're just better than that? That's what it is? Like, are you guys not wanting to aim higher than that? Are we not wanting more than that? I don't want to spend my every fall and winter time praising a team or trying to find the positives of mediocrity. I'm done with that. So all of us need to just rally around and realize that this is the last year of a failed era, which is the Alex Smith, Andy Reid era. Will Andy Reid be back next year? Absolutely. But I'm hoping, and I'm willing to forget a little bit of him riding with Alex Smith all the way to the end, but I'll never forgive him for taking away snaps from our future quarterback, which I believe, and you believe, is going to take us to multiple Super Bowls.
Patrick Mahomes is ready to take over for this team. It's simple time. Like you said, could the Chiefs go to the playoffs? Sure they could. But I think what you're going to do is you're going to expose the defense when they go against better teams in the playoffs. The Chargers got a damn good defense. We're going to see them in 2 weeks. The Raiders, Derek Carr had, 430 yards when we played him last time in Oakland. The secondary, Darrelle Revis today only played one half. Why did he come out in the second half? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. I want to thank 610 Sports, the show from 6 to 9 with Ronnie Hughley, Steven Serta, and Joseph Summers for letting me be on their show and talk to them when it's time for me. They let me ramble. They let me make my debate. They let me spew.
They let him make all the sense. That's what they let him do.
Thank you, and I appreciate Lance for backing me. Even though we disagree, they're good people, and they're going to keep it real. So continue to listen to 610 Sports. For this week, I will call. Lance, it's always a pleasure to have you on, brother.
That's right, man.
We'll check him out at Casey Beard Company and get their stuff on Amazon. Where else can we get some Casey Beard Company?
CaseyBeardco.com. We're in about 80 locations in the Kansas City area. Check all of those out on CaseyBeardco.com. You guys will love it. 100% organic ingredients, 100% organic manliness.
It's the best stuff for your beard. Let me tell you, you look as freaking as good as me and Lance. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 1 month left of the Kansas City Chiefs season. They'll either be tied for first today with the Raiders and Chargers, or there may be a 3-way tie, there may be a 2-way tie. The Chiefs have the Raiders and the Chargers coming up. 3 straight games at home and then a road game at Denver. The Chiefs are at the crossroads. We want them to start Patrick Mahomes in a crucial situation to get some experience for the long term. But if we stay with Alex Smith, we don't know what we're going to get. Are we going to get the quarterback who's afraid to throw through tight windows or up top for the cover 2? Or are we going to get a quarterback today that will go up top to challenge the cornerbacks? What's going to happen with the defense? Frank Zombo's been playing the last 5 weeks with D Ford out with a bad back. Frank Zombo is a special teams guy. He continues to show it. Marcus Peters is our #1 corner. Darrelle Revis is our 2nd corner. What's going to happen going forward? Do we have a safety? Is it Eric Murray, who was inactive today? Tom Bahali was inactive today. But the long story, as I was talking to Lance right here last April, Chiefs fans, we need to think outside of the box. We need to think long term. How is it long term? You go to Patrick Mahomes and see where he stands right now. The Kansas City Chiefs save $23.5 million against the cap if they release Tom Bahali and Alex Smith before March 1st. Look for that to happen. How do you go long term? You start Patrick Mahomes. You got any closing segments you want to add to that, Lance?
I want to thank all you guys for hearing us and understanding where our viewpoint, our standpoint comes from. In no way do I come across, or I hope I don't come across, as somebody who hates this team. It's actually quite the opposite. I wouldn't come and waste Shane's time and your time if I didn't love this team as equally or even more than a lot of you guys out there. We're just hoping, and we're really, really hoping, guys, and we're positive that this is going to be something that is going to change the infrastructure of this team that we all love and watch every Sunday, because we see the intangibles in a young man that a lot of people are scared to turn the keys over to. And I understand the caution, but guys, it is time to take that risk. 30-plus years of mediocrity at the quarterback position. It is time to end that drought. And I look forward to covering this team with my boy Shane right here, talking to you guys about it, you guys following us, listening to you guys. Your opinions matter the most. We love hearing back from you guys. We hope that this is going to be a successful journey for years to come. And we're all talking about do they make a repeat at the Super Bowl? That's the kind of stuff I'm looking forward to talking to, because I'm tired of talking about the same stuff year in and year out. I'm tired of being frustrated. I know my dude Shaggy is, and he's the ultimate optimist, so to get this guy mad, you know it has to be bad. So we are excited, guys, for what's going to happen. It's going to be a little bit of a tough time to get through this offseason, I believe, because I don't really see Alex Smith getting benched this year, especially after a game like today. They're going to justify it in their own way. So we'll just have to wait till 2018, guys. And until then, we'll be here. You guys know where to find us. We're really excited to keep talking about this team. And we are hopeful that something good happens. But we're also staying cautiously optimistic about it at the same time. So thank you guys so much.
That is Lance Twidwell of The Spoke. And check him out on Facebook. They break it down on NBA. He breaks it down with the NFL. He's on top of the NBA, like I said, in March or April when I had Lance on here. I haven't followed it closely since my Kansas City Kings left. If you want to know in-depth NBA, he's on it. If you want to know NFL, he's on it. Brother Lance, Casey Beard Company, thank you so much. Until next Sunday, when the Kansas City Chiefs come back home to play the Oakland Raiders, it's Raiders Week.
It's Raiders Week.
See you next Sunday. This is ShaggyShane, along with Lance Twidwell. Go Chiefs.